Hello and welcome back to Nerd News Today, and it's time for another statue review and unboxing. And once again, we've got another Diamond Select piece, and this is part of their Marvel Gallery Diorama series, which is their PVC line of statues and collectibles. And today we're looking at Lady Deadpool. I think it's safe to say that most everybody out there loves Deadpool. Deadpool is a super popular character, and there is a ton of merchandise with Deadpool's face on it. Face used loosely, of course. But Lady Deadpool is an interesting one because I think as of now, there isn't much with her. Now, last year, Hasbro did put out a Marvel Legends figure of Lady Deadpool. I think there might be one or two resin pieces of her, but don't quote me on that. And then there's this piece here. So it's kind of slim pickings if you're a fan of this character. So yeah, stay tuned because you're going to be pretty curious to see how this actually turns out. So who exactly is Lady Deadpool? Well, I'm not going to give you the whole story. In fact, you guys can read the whole story in a few moments. But Lady Deadpool is essentially an alternate universe Deadpool. And she was part of the Deadpool Corps. In fact, she was a leader of that group, which was an interdimensional group of Deadpools. It gets pretty timey-wimey, interdimensional kind of stuff here. We'll save that for another video. But a pretty cool character, and it's Deadpool as the lady. What more do you need? First things first, though, let's go ahead and take a look at this packaging here, which is your typical Diamond Select packaging. You guys can see here it's got a crimson color scheme across the entire packaging, as well as the Lady Deadpool logo. We've got windows on the left and the right and a giant one on the front, so you can take a peek into this figure. And as always, there is the handy-dandy Diamond Select sunroof. One of the nice things about this figure is that it's a very vertically oriented statue, which in this case lends itself to having a very slim kind of packaging, which is always a big plus for me. I like when things don't take up as much space, so as a collector, this is pretty ideal. The back of the box has a pretty good bio, actually, about Lady Deadpool. It really lets us know who the character is, gives us a pretty decent amount of information, and to be completely honest, it's kind of a step up from what we saw with that Ghost Spider piece we also recently reviewed here on this channel. And you guys can see what I'm talking about here. So with Lady Deadpool, she got this nice, big ol' enormous bio, and with Ghost Spider, she got one sentence. So I don't know why Lady Deadpool needed more sentences than Ghost Spider here. I wouldn't have minded a little bit more of a bio on Ghost Spider. That's a different video, of course, but on the plus side, Lady Deadpool does have a pretty good amount of information here, so hats off to them for doing that. And the back of the packaging also lets us know that this piece was sculpted by Alejandro Pereira, a sculptor who we've looked at several of his pieces here before on this channel. That's enough about the box. Let's go ahead and bust our Lady Deadpool free, get her to our universe, and take a look at her from all angles. All right, and here is our Lady Deadpool statue. And I neglected to mention this during the intro of the video, but can you guys tell who this was designed by? Because if you can't, I think it's fairly obvious, but Lady Deadpool actually was originally created by Rob Liefeld, so this is kind of like his next version of Lady Deadpool, and really looking at the statue right away, you can kind of see a lot more of that Liefeld influence on her, especially with this arched pose here, but we'll talk about that in a few moments. You might notice that something is missing from her. In fact, her hand looks a little empty. Well, I wanted to show you guys this a little bit separately first. Lady Deadpool also comes with a second katana, which you see here, and it is packaged separately too. And I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like, because it's a really nice looking katana. This is a great accessory here. This would look so good on an action figure. Really nice detail, super clean paint job. It's also actually quite sharp, which is nice. It's got a little sharpness to it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and slide this into her hand. I want to do it on camera to show you guys what it looked like. There we go. So now our Lady Deadpool is complete with her katana. Now normally we talk about likeness, but there isn't much of a likeness to discuss here because it's Lady Deadpool. She's wearing a mask. So really the key thing about her is the pose and the color. You know, because there really isn't a lot going on in texture either in this case. So let's talk about that pose, and this is such a Liefeld pose and such Liefeld anatomy even on the statue. I mean, granted, she actually has legs and ankles and feet, so it's an upgrade, but this arch pose here, this is absolutely Liefeld. It reminds me so much of that like Captain America 1 comic cover with his like giant chest bulging out, and yeah. And you can especially see here, it's not particularly anatomically correct much, and what doesn't help it either is the fact that the design of this piece with her outfit, it also kind of like cuts away and flattens her out a little bit too, so you don't see as much of the angle that she's creating. But yeah, I feel like that's like the one little Liefeld homage I snuck in there was that super duper C shape on her spine. But it actually works pretty good here. So this is one of those rare times I don't complain about a Liefeld style pose. And I think it works because overall, especially from other angles, you can see like it's pretty great. Like anatomically speaking, this is perfect. They nailed it. Body is actually quite realistic. But it's also a fairly sexy pose here too, with this kind of like dynamism of her going into attack. There's a pretty good shift in weight here you can see with her legs too. This is a fairly action-packed pose while also keeping things super 90s sexy. So if you look at it from that angle, I think it works pretty well. Now if you're a regular viewer of my channel here, you know that I'm not like super big on just straight up sexy poses with statues. I think they're kind of boring, a little too obvious. I think in the case of Lady Deadpool though, overall it does actually work because there's a lot going on here. There actually is some storytelling here. And this pose, while yes, it being fairly sexy and her outfit being, you know, fairly revealing, all things considered, just tights, they made her look, you know, very ravishing in this outfit here. But it works as an actual pose too, because she is in the middle of action here. And it's very much in the vein of a 90s style character. Because if this was a Liefeld drawing, and it probably is actually referencing a certain panel from one of the comic books she appeared in, she'd probably be doing this exact pose, fending off a sword or something, or most likely standing behind a brick wall while she's doing this. Like, I can totally see this as being something that she would do, and that's why it kind of works for me, and that's why it fits. More so than other statues that are definitely trying to be more in that sexy look. So paint-wise, overall fairly clean, and it's also fairly simple too. We're talking really on Lady Deadpool here, we've got red, we got black, we got brown, and we got blonde, and that's pretty much the end of it. The gray base is its own kind of separate world. So for the most part, yeah, they kept it very clean, and it's very simple, and it works because of that. I think if anything, Lady Deadpool's hair kind of bugs me a little bit. It just kind of looks like some Play-Doh almost, but I mean, it is actually accurate to what she's doing. And the whip in the hair too also kind of adds to the action-packedness of the character here. And again, we're getting this S shape, which is really just two C's in different directions. And that kind of mirrors what's going on here with her spine and really the entire shape of the character, because if you really look at it, we've got the curve going across every element of it. And what helps this piece stand out is, again, the horizontal sword arms here. So this kind of adds some interesting contrapposto to the piece. We're getting all artsy now, folks. You're getting a nice art lesson here. But that's kind of how the piece works. There is a lot of similar shapes that are going on to create these curves, and those are the sexier elements of the piece. But then we get to things like this, and this is a more hard edge. That comes into the dynamic, action-packed part of the piece. As for the base, I like the base too. It's fairly simple, though. I wouldn't mind maybe a little bit more of a dash of color here and there or something. It's just a one-color base, and it's like her on the sidewalk with some random pipe sticking out of it. There's not much verticality in that piece either, but that's partly too because Lady Deadpool is already a very, very vertical statue as it is. So what's kind of nice about this base is that it actually reinforces the verticalness of her without having any elements in it that are standing up straight. She's very much contained within this circle that she's in, and that kind of works for me. I'm actually okay with that. And it's kind of, again, reinforcing those round shapes that we see with Lady Deadpool, because we got the belt, we got, again, all these curvy shapes here, so this base actually very much works with it as a whole. So I give points for doing it that way. So with a character like Lady Deadpool, there isn't really a lot to discuss beyond, I feel like, what I've already discussed here, because it's a pretty simple looking piece. I mean, you guys can see we've got a mask head, so there's not really any face details to talk about. We've already gone very, very in depth on the body and the pose, and I don't really know how much more I can say about it besides just talking about all the little ins and outs of the anatomy and the weight and that kind of stuff. I don't really want to do that today. I think the swords are really awesome too. That part is really cool. The base is nice. I think the nice thing about this piece is that, you know what, it's really great in its simplicity. And there's a little bit of sophistication within that simplicity. So those are really the key points I wanted to talk about with this review. There's a lot more going on than you might think, but at the end of the day, it's also a very simple piece, and simple is sometimes better than being complicated. Now, as a Lady Deadpool piece goes, I think this is a very good one to have in your collection. I think it really captures the essence of the character. They've got a lot of key parts of her in this statue. It's also pretty affordable, too, and you keep in mind this is a $50 statue. And just for reference, too, so you guys know, Lady Deadpool is about 9 inches tall, more or less, give or take. So you're getting a pretty good bang for your buck. It's a good-looking piece. One thing you could say that maybe is missing or could have improved or changed the statue in some way would be some guns, maybe. Like, you know, Deadpools have guns, don't they? So why aren't there any guns here? I'm fine with actually her being super stabby, though, because I don't remember if she used too many guns. I'm assuming she did, though, because this is a Deadpool after all. So I'm assuming she had plenty of guns. There's really none on her. But I prefer the sword look. I prefer katanas. I think it looks really great like this, too. I don't think it really needed guns to make it any better. And if you're just a fan of Deadpool in general, I mean, you kind of have to get this one, because I don't expect there's going to be a real overflow of Lady Deadpool merchandise coming out anytime soon. So I think they really went as all out as they could with this character, and they absolutely did her justice. So if you like Deadpool, if you like Lady Deadpool, if you like any of those things, this is totally a statue I recommend you guys get. And yeah, I'm giving it a high recommendation. And in the words of Stan Lee, enough said, because I don't really think I can say much more about it that I haven't already said beyond just repeating myself. And quite frankly, I do that enough in these videos as is. So that's our look at Lady Deadpool from Diamond Select. I'm giving the statue a rating of a buy, because that's how I'm giving statues ratings apparently now. I don't know. Not too many cons, lots of pros, good looking, strong piece overall. But of course, let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think about this Lady Deadpool piece and what you'd like to see if you had your way with it. If you'd like to order this Lady Deadpool statue for yourself, why not use our Amazon affiliate links in the description below? It helps out this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you, so everybody wins. So that's our look at Diamond Select's Marvel Gallery Lady Deadpool diorama figure. This has been Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and thanks for watching. We'll see you guys here next time with more statue unboxings and reviews.